a pretty good ladies doubles featuring Martina Navratilova, and that is what American television wanted. But as far as British television is concerned, we are very, very interested in what goes on now. They're changing the net, of course, because show courts here, they changed the net for singles and doubles. The obvious reason being that you can, of course, if you are pulled wide, go around the net. And if you're playing singles and you've got a doubles net in, you've got a problem. So that's why a singles net is being put in. So Tim Henman and Richard Krajicek have had a long wait, and a pretty disturbed wait as well, because the weather has been bad. There's been thunder and lightning ringing around, but I've just been up for a quick weather check, Chris, and it's all still up there. It's black and still, and there doesn't appear to be any wind, and I guess there's a lot less humidity, and so I would think conditions are just about perfect.
Yes, Bill, I would say they are perfect, and that's good to hear. Let's hope that we get through this evening's match with no interruptions, coming up to what, 9:30 here in New York, so the players have been waiting a couple of hours since the evening session started. I suppose you could say that they may have anticipated that the doubles, the ladies' doubles we just seen, may have lasted a couple of hours. I was certainly expecting 3 sets and was very surprised when Navratilova and Sanchezova went through the second set as easy as they did, 6-love. So you know, we're all looking forward to this one, and Henman, as we all know, has been playing some very good tennis in this summer hardcourt season. Krajicek, as we've been talking about all day, hasn't played a lot. He's had a few injuries this year, as ever, problems with his knees, may not be coming into this match in the best physical shape that's possible. But I think that being playing in the evening will certainly help Krajicek.
Yeah, well, you're going to be hearing a lot about our views about this match. Mark, you haven't gone back, if you do manage to get some transport as yet, because if you do, it'll be the last day you do, from what I've heard. What's going on from now on, it's going to be chaotic. What do you think about this match?
I think the longer the match goes, it definitely favours Henman with the fitness side of it, the fitness aspect. Krajicek has been struggling with his knees, and I think over 4 or 5 sets, it's still pretty humid out there. I think that's going to help Henman. But again, it comes down to serve, and I think this evening it's going to come down to the second serve. Who hits their second serve better on the big points?
Well, off go the defeated pair. They did their best. They didn't play the most natural type of doubles that one would lead. With Martina on court, you expect a very efficient doubles team, and I think they were really, but the other pair were clearly not, even though Anna Kournikova has been ranked #1, that was on the back of playing with Martina Hingis last year, but they were not a natural doubles pair, although individually, of course, they produced some sparkling stuff. One thing as regards Tim Henman that concerns me slightly, I can't remember, I don't know if either of you two guys can, him playing a night match before. Do either of you remember that?
He hasn't played a night match here in Flushing, but I think it's the sort of atmosphere that Henman will get up for. I think there's, you know, just being here for last year when these matches are going on, you can't do anything but get fired up and have the adrenaline flowing through you. I think it's a great thing for him. He's become a fairly big name here in America, and I don't know what you think, Chris, but I think, you know, they wanted him for this match because, you know, they know how exciting he is to play.
I certainly agree with that. I think that also as well they'd have looked at the matches they've had in the past and seen how close and probably exciting they've been. They've played 3 times in their careers so far against each other. They've played 10 sets in those 3 meetings, and 6 of those have been in tie-break sets. So, you know, we really are looking at, I think, a very nip-and-tuck match as Henman and Krajicek take to the court. And certainly, I think, Mark, that this one was the pick of the 3rd round, without question. You look at all the matches we've seen today, and this is the one, whether you're British or American or anybody else around the world, you would pick this one as the match that you would probably want to come and watch.
It won't be a classic in terms of the match-up in styles. Obviously, when you get your Sampras's and Agassi's playing against each other, you've got the big server against the big returner, you get a classic match. But this is really going to be a big serving feast. And but the exciting thing about a match like this is that it is going to be just 1 or 2 points. The match is going to just hit its peaks at times. They're going to be brief, but it's going to be exciting when it gets to that point. I think Henman's going to win. I think the backhand pass is also going to be a big key factor in this match tonight.
Well, I believe that you're now going to leave us, Mark, and go down courtside. So you'll probably have a better view of this one than us. So enjoy that one, and we look forward to hearing some of your reports as this match progresses.
Well, thanks very much, Chris and Bill.
And I hope it doesn't rain on you.
It's a little hot down there, but I'll be all right. I'll just get myself a beverage.
Good. Bring one up. Never know, we might need one. What's the time in England right now? It's 2:30 in the morning. No doubt you've all stayed up to watch this. I certainly would if I was at home. Nice holiday tomorrow. And you might well have about 2-3 hours maybe of terrific action. What I've seen of Henman in this tournament, he's been in very good form indeed. He looks to me as though he's put on a bit more weight. He looks powerful, strong, and very eager. Steve Ulrich from the United States, the umpire here. Immaterial which end you choose at night, unless the wind is affecting it down there, and I wouldn't have thought it was. Well, not very much anyway. So Richard Krajicek, former Wimbledon champion, when he had a really purple phase at Wimbledon, and was a very worthy champion indeed. But he hasn't sort of approached that form after winning the Wimbledon championships. He's had a whole host of injuries, of course, hasn't he? Whereas Tim has been relatively injury-free.
Yes, Krajicek's had a lot of problems right the way through his career with his knees. He had another arthroscopic investigation at the beginning of this year. It caused him to be out for a couple of months and hasn't been able to do a lot of road work, which quite a lot of the players do. We've heard of Henman, of course, with his trainer Kieran Vorster at the end of last year in the middle of winter, getting up early and doing lots of running on the banks of the River Thames as Henman's stats come up. Of course, 25 years of age, 26 actually this month on the 12th. Current ranking of 11. And certainly a little bit more of, as Bill said, a heavyweight. He's putting on muscle all the time, which is good. He's had a good season. 3 runner-up positions in Cincinnati, the latest one where he lost to Thomas Enquist, Rotterdam and Scottsdale, also a semi-finalist in Indianapolis. So this probably, I'm sure Henman feels as well, his most consistent season so far in his career, even though he's lost in his last 7 finals and went no further than the 4th round at Wimbledon. Henman feels that all the time he is progressing and improving, which is all you can ask of any professional sportsman.
So Richard Krajicek there, born in the Netherlands, lives in the Netherlands. Amazing. A tennis player who doesn't live in Monte Carlo. 28 years old, taller and heavier, and a current ranking of 23, but he has been very, very much higher than that. He has been at number 4 in the world, but then Henman has been at number 5 in the world, so there's not much difference there. And he turned pro 11 years ago, and he's got a massive experience and is a very good all-round player. I don't know, sometimes he goes a little bit soft on court, but he hits the ball in a pretty vicious way, and of course his serve is colossal. This year, runner-up in Halle, just before Wimbledon, grass court tournament. And Henman is ahead by 2-1 in their head-to-heads. They had a Grand Slam meeting at Wimbledon in '97. Henman won a very, very tight match there, 3 tie-break sets, 7-6, 6-7, 7-6, 6-4, and that was in the round of the last 16. For the last meeting, and the only time, in fact, they played on a hard court was at New Haven 2 years ago, and that's one that Krajicek won. Another tight match, 5-7, 6-2, 7-6. And so there's very, very little to choose in the score lines between these 2 players, and I don't think, as their last meeting was 2 years ago, and Tim has really come on since then, you can put too much bearing on what's happened before. Very good overhead. People who have a very good serve normally have a very good smash. Certainly Henman has an excellent smash. Career record at the US, 10-5. This has been his second best. Grand Slam tournament after Wimbledon, where of course he had a couple of semi-final showings and quarterfinals. And this, I understand him to say that this is his favourite service, even over grass.
Yes, I think he likes the even bounce, the way that he can set up the points, the way that he can pick and choose whether he serves and volleys or not. And certainly with the win over Sampras on a hard court, before that match he was saying, well, this is my best chance of beating Sampras on a hard court, and of course he did it and has gone from strength to strength since then.
Chris, matches that have been played today, there's one match which Habati won, and won pretty simply over Kafelnikov. That wasn't a surprise to me at all, having watched Kafelnikov play in this event. He didn't seem to be showing too much interest to me, and having lost the first two sets, he dribbled away in the third set. Habati is a very good player indeed, and will play the winner of this match. And that is going to be a tough encounter, because he can play excellent tennis.
It is a tough encounter, but I think that both men will obviously know that Hrabati is awaiting in the next round. And I think both of them would feel, well, that is actually a very good draw for a place in the quarterfinals. I think most people would be happy with that. I agree with you when you say that Hrabati is a good player, but certainly these two, either Henman or Krajicek, have the game to beat Dominic Hrabati on this type of surface, which is very fast. The ball flies through the air. Hrabati's best results in general have come on clay, which is obviously much slower. So I would think that, again, a little bit of extra pressure on these two, knowing that Hrabati's there for a possible quarter-final place to face more than likely Pete Sampras, who plays Hang Tak Lee, I think, from South Korea, a qualifier. So you could almost guarantee that Sampras will await either Henman, Krajicek or Hrabati in the quarterfinals. Let's hope it's Henman.
That's right. Lee of Korea is really playing a blinder in these tournaments here. Hardly anybody had heard of him. But he beat a very good player in Rainer Schuttler of Germany, and he beat him in 4 fairly close sets. So that's an excellent win for him. But I wouldn't think he'll make much of a dent in the Sampras game.
We're going to go on first serves, Bill, as I think both you and I feel that may hinge on the outcome, how well both men get their first serves in. So far in this tournament, taking all their matches into account, Richard Krajicek has won 83% of first serve points when he's got it in. Henman has won 73, so not much to choose between them. But here's where the factor may be when you look at the aces count. Krajicek so far has served 37, Henman only 13. So Krajicek may in this match get a few more free points, which is what it might come down to. But certainly this one, I think, for everybody, certainly for me, a real spin of a coin. And let's hope that Henman, when he came out, called heads, and the coin lands on heads.
Looks eager, doesn't he? Looks fit. Looks very healthy. Is very healthy. And is going to start the match on his own serve, Henman. So, England expects.
That's the side that Henman, I'm sure, will be attacking the most on the serves and with the volleys, the Krajicek backhand. When Krajicek won Wimbledon, everybody was going there and he was flashing winners, and nobody was expecting him to continue to do so. He did, but it's certainly the weaker side.
Oh, that's a brilliant shot. Half volley pass.
And automatically the backhand makes me eat my words. Stayed low, didn't he? Look at that. The right leg came out. All the weight stayed through the shot as he controlled it on the half volley.
Lovely accurate serve. Shades of Sampras in that serve. straight away good first serve percentage. Henman just a little bit hesitant there about whether to play it on the half volley. Check, move forward. Good return. Yeah, very well closed in by Henman then, because it was not a bad return off an excellent serve. Pretty sharp start.
Yes, very impressive from Henman on that last volley, Bill, as you said, and that's something I think that Henman has improved on, his movement towards the ball. And that's another reason why I think he can thank Kieran Vorster for this improvement in form. He is, I think, a yard faster than he's ever been, and that's got to help Henman.
Here goes Krajicek. Expect big serves.
Well, that's his favourite serve, the slice out wide. It's a fairly quick action from Krajicek, so tough to pick. But he will go out wide, I think, to Henman's forehand quite a lot.
Elegant, but wide. Strong arm there for Henman, playing it fairly wide of him on the backhand. High ball, bringing it down. That was a terrific return of serve. He's only got 1/3 of his first serves in. I know it's his first service game, but Henman got all his first serves in.
But that's what it's going to be about, Bill. First serves in, and who capitalises when the first serve is missed. And Henman so far has done it very early on. 2 break points. Excuse me, 30 all. Getting ahead of myself.
There you see the difference when he does get this big first serve in. Yes, chose exactly right. I thought he was going to go down the line then. Maybe he thought he was, and then he changed his mind. It was a brilliant shot.
Well, split seconds, isn't it, that Henman has to choose, and maybe seeing that Krajicek was favouring the down the line, just opens up at the last moment. But this is a sharp start from Henman in the serving, but I think more importantly for him in the returning.
And there again, I mean, that is great. Really good. Wide on the forehand, so using the angle to go back across wide. So here's the break point.
I knew there was going to be one in this game, Bill, don't worry.
Yeah, I know. You're psychic. Bad luck. Oh, that was a good second serve, though. Another good wide return of serve again. He is returning well.
Again, this is an area of Henman's game which you can see him going into the shot that's improved the return of serve. Confidence as well, isn't it? That an improvement. Second chance to break.
Second chance with the second serve.
This is very similar to the start that Henman made in the final of Cincinnati against Thomas Enquist. Very sharp to begin with, had some break points very early on in the first service games of Enquist, didn't convert, and then went on to lose the match. Of course, the final of Cincinnati best of 3 set final, this one best of 5 here.
Yeah, very clean. Made that look easy. Well, win or lose this game on the Krajicek serve, he's making Krajicek work hard at the start.
Definitely, I'm just about to say that mentally, I said win or lose, this is the perfect start for him, because automatically he's making Krajicek think about his main weapon is being fired back at him. Well, that looked long.
Certainly did.
And I think it was long. Umpire Ulrich, I think, overruling.
He stayed back, carved at it, far too much side spin on it. That's what curved it out. He is having to work extremely hard in his first service game. You can tell that by the sweat pouring off him already. I'm talking about Krajicek, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can see Krajicek, as we've been saying, really having to think about his opening service game. It's got to be good for Henman.
Terrific. Third chance coming up to break serve.
Just not wide enough. It's the favourite serve from Krajicek to the deuce side, the wide swinging serve, but he's not really cutting round the ball enough to get that angle.
Oh, by a whisker. Yeah, well, the pace defeated Krajicek then. Henman gave that a real meaty hit.
Certainly seeing here why these two have had such close fights before. Only in the second game, and we've already played 11 minutes. Juice number 7.
No, he leant back on that. He didn't actually get down and drive through it as he normally does. Finally, Krajicek wins the game, but my word, look, he puffs and blows. He had to work so much hard for that.
That'll be a huge relief for Krajicek, and I think at the same time a big lift. But also a perfect start for Henman, even though he lost that game. Applying pressure right at the start on the Krajicek serve. Well, that's what Henman won't like about playing Richard Krajicek, is that Krajicek will take the second serve early and force Henman to pass. So we come back again, Bill, to what we were saying right at the start of first serves in.
It's the first time it hasn't been.
The snap on that volley, but all under control, controlled aggression.
That's good too, good thinking. He slowed that one down, put it where he wanted it, and the volley was safe.
Yes, the serve from Henman only 83 miles per hour. Got quite a lot of work on the ball. These courts here at the US Open really do respond to a lot of spin on that second serve. Really bites and springs off.
Break point against Henman.
And Henman's first double fault. You'd think that the way that Krajicek has been threatening the second serve when he's received it, a factor in that double fault.
Yep, that's good tactics by Krajicek. And he's won the game, having very nearly lost his own service game before that. So Krajicek ahead 2-1.
talked about first serves going in, and right there we see when Henman doesn't get the first serve in, Krajicek is more than capable of taking Henman's second serve early and pressurizing it. And Henman throughout this match is going to have to make some serious choices about what he does behind the second serve. Is he going to let Krajicek chip and come in all the time to force Henman to make the passes, or is Henman going to elect to serve and volley all the time on the second serve, or is he going to elect to take a little bit of pace off the first serve to bring his percentage up to stop Krajicek trying to get into the net behind a chip? It really is a fascinating contest, and a very, very good start from both men, considering they've had to wait around for a couple of hours while that women's doubles was played, and of course the half-hour rain delay as well. Both men very quickly into their stride.
Well, I imagine Henman, of the various options you suggested, will eventually elect to just mix it up and try and keep Krajicek guessing. But it was a pretty good effort by Krajicek there to achieve that net position finally and tuck away the final volley. He's ahead 2-1.
15 love.
It's a very quick action, this serve. Difficult to read. Yes, well played. Had to be sharp to do that. Lucky it came off the net cord and got slowed down.
This is good coverage from Krajicek. We'll expect this from a former Wimbledon champion. And I'm sure Henman in return will expect to play 1, 2, 3 passing shots before he wins the point. Might always be able to pass Henman, Krajicek right from the off.
40-15.
Well, it's big serving. 127, 129 miles per hour, that one. Underlines his break of serve, goes ahead 3-1.
It's a very intelligent return from Krajicek, just using the pace of the Henman second serve just to guide the ball away from the incoming Henman.
Yeah, well played. He was very sharp onto that, Henman. Desperation volleys coming up from Krajicek.
Well, we know Krajicek has the capabilities to cover the net well because he's so big. He's 6'5", long reach. Again, look at the point that Henman has to play when he doesn't get the first serve in.
Really good return of serve, off a good serve.
And this is worrying for Henman. When his first serve gets dealt with as crisply as that from Krajicek. He was also taking the second serve early. It's just mounting pressure on Henman's shoulders. It's a better depth on the serve.
Well, that just curved wide just at the end of its flight. Point here for 2-3.
He hasn't served a lot of double faults so far in this tournament, Henman. He only served 5 coming into the match. He's served 2 already.
My word, Henman is having to deal with a man opposite him who is getting to these wide serves. That's worrying for him. Very, very sharp. Volleying the volley. Achieves the winning that game and is indeed at 2-3, but a break behind.
I'm not a dentist! But after eating anti-orbit sugar-free gum!
Love to love you, baby, baby. Love to love you, baby, baby. Love to love you, baby. Love to love you.
Jennifer, would you get back to me on that? Thanks.
Baby, baby. Love to love you, baby, baby. Love to love you, baby. Love to love you. You know I do. Love to love you, baby. Love to love you, baby.
Let someone else help you. If we receive your completed form by the 30th of September, we will calculate your tax for you.
I'm not a dentist, but after eating, I chew Orbit sugar-free gum.
Well, no doubt sitting there and just wondering about his game plan. No doubt he walked on court with a game plan, but you've got to be a thinking player if you're a top player and a really good player, and you've got to be able to sort of think on your feet, as it were. You've got to be able to change your plan if the opponent is not doing what you expected him to do, and I'm sure that Henman did not expect this brilliant start by Richard Krajicek. Well, not quite as brilliant. Here he goes, 3-2. That couldn't be better.
The quality of this match, considering we only played 5 games, I think is exceptional. Very rarely do you get 2 men playing well at the same time. We've got both men playing well at such an early stage. It's actually quite a nice camera shot, that one, on the Henman grip, because you can see Henman predominantly stands with a backhand grip. So that's why at times he can struggle to get on top of the ball on the forehand side on the return.
He shares that with Krajicek, who does the same, isn't he? Not many top players do. Lovely touch.
Krajicek leads 4 games to 2.
It's rather like taking a penalty and firing straight at the goalkeeper.
I think it's quite an underused shot, actually, on that type of mid-court ball, because invariably players will decide one way or the other to go to the backhand or the forehand side and leave the middle exposed.
And that's a good shot. Unusual shot, relatively unusual type of volley, whipping over it with a bit of topspin. Well, I hope for his sake it's not going to be one of those days where the forehand is left in the locker room. Yep, very good, very safe, just guided down there.
15-40.
See, this is the difference right here with Henman, or if you want Sampras. Henman second serve 91 miles per hour. Sampras would have hit one about 108, 110. Henman has won 2 of 9 points on his second serve. Here's a choice right here for Henman. Guarantee that Krajicek will try and take this one early.
Well, you're right, but maybe he took it too early. I mean, he was groping in front of him to hit that. clear intentions there.
Yeah, groping in front and more actually to the side, because Henman, it was not a great second serve, but it was in the middle of the box with a lot of work, and it kicked off to Krajicek's left.
Gosh, that would have been criminal if that had dropped in. Well finished off, and Henman had to hang in there. He's still the game behind, 3-4.
Krajicek leads 4 games to 3.
Well, the longer this match goes on, I mean, we've only had 7 games, but it's, as you said, Chris, it's very high quality indeed, and ominously, this man unraveling another racket here after the first 7 games. Change of balls, perhaps. Maybe he's a bit like Lendl. Change of balls, change of racket. He is playing very well indeed, and Henman's got his hands full.
Yes, Krajicek does change his racket with the change of balls, fresh restring. But as we've said, it's a very quick start from Richard Krajicek. We look out over towards Manhattan, a city that never sleeps, and may not get a lot of sleep tonight either. But Henman, I don't think will be disappointed, Bill, with the way that he started. Ran into a man right now that has come out, and after having saved his opening service game, after saving 3 break points in a 7-deuce game, has settled down and has exploited something that we thought he'd probably do, and that's the Henman second serve when Tim hasn't got his first one in. But still very much in the balance. They've always had very tight matches, and this one is no different in front of this packed Arthur Ashe crowd. New balls,
New racket.
15.
That's bad luck. Krajicek did not deal as well with a high backhand as Henman normally does when he has that shot. He's brilliant at it normally. I think he's being pretty disconcerted by the enormous figure of Krajicek at the net. As you point out, he's 6'5", difficult to lob, huge wingspan with those long arms.
and with the quality of Krajicek's first volley. He is exceptional.
Game, Krajicek.
Good serving. And he now leads 5-3. So the sands of time are running out for Henman to break in this set. He'll only have one more chance, assuming he holds his own now.
Henman asking umpire Ulrich if he was going with the machine, which the umpire did. Second serve.
Very good first volley. Not too ambitious, just safe. Excellent point. Serve and volley then.
It's much better second serve from Henman, purely because he tucked Krajicek up and closed down the ball well. It's maybe something he's got to think of a little bit more going at Krajicek.
Yeah, well, really, Krajicek is responsible for these double faults, would you think? Because he has put so much pressure on the second serve that Henman is absolutely forced to go for a longer, deeper, faster second serve himself. Yes, very well picked off shot. Wasn't much room.
Krajicek leads 5 games to 4.
Well, he'll be sitting there, and if I was him, I hope he's not, because I'd be thinking, oh gosh, just one of those 3 points I had to break in the Krajicek first service game, that long game. Krajicek defended them all.
That's been the difference. As you said, Bill, Henman didn't break when he had the break point opportunities, and then Krajicek got one break point in Henman's next service game and took it. But this is a fine shot from Henman off a low ball, off forehand angle to pass the incoming Krajicek. But still, this is good tennis. We can't say that Henman's playing badly, or that you know, the serve is off, or the second serve is off, or the forehand is off. This is just purely that Krajicek, one, has taken the break point that he's had, and two, is serving well and returning well, and is just playing right now the better tennis. Simple as that. He is making Henman pay when Henman's not getting the first serve in, whereas Henman at the moment is not able to do that as much, and that's the difference. But a long way to go. Really is a long way to go. First set of 5, very possibly. And you wonder whether Krajicek can continue on this high right the way through.
Yes, you do. In his great run at Wimbledon, he made the marvellous results he had leading up to the final look simple. Straight sets, wins over his opponents. Wonderful morale factor if you take the first point off a big server on his serve. Yeah, he's got that one too. Carving across the volley like that is going to put side spin on it. That helped it wide.
No first serves in this game.
Well, now there are 3 break points, and I always feel you want to treat it like 1 break point. It's the first one you want, not the second, and certainly not the third. Henman has been very lucky to get 2 double faults from this man. And even lucky to have no first serves. Well, this is the reason you want to try and get the first one. This can happen to you. 132.
Here's where it's at for Henman. Second serve on the last break point. He's got to take it.
Missed.
That's 6 break points that Henman's had in this first set. He hasn't taken one of them. Not sure that Krajicek will let him get away with it.
Doesn't look like it, because here is set point. He's taken 4 points in a row here, having served only 1 first serve in, and including 2 double faults.
Krajicek. 6 games to 4.
So there we are. He, I think, was extremely lucky. He played some marvelous tennis, but he was very lucky to get away with that. And what a pity for Henman. He couldn't do something with those 3 break points. So we're looking at the man who's just taken the first set, and perhaps a little fortunate to do it, but he's done it. And there's the summary of the first set. Henman, better first serve percentage. Only 1 ace from Henman and 3 double faults. Winners exactly the same, but unforced errors 10. Well, I don't know about that. That's objective. Mark, you've been down at courtside. What's your assessment of what's gone on?
Well, I think from Krajicek's point of view, he's glad that he's won the first set. He doesn't want this match to go long, obviously because of fitness, but it is a pretty cool night here in New York, so he'll be fairly pleased about how things have gone. But I've spoken to a number of people, and it seems that Henman has had a fairly big impact here in America. Obviously his final in Cincinnati, and there's a fair few people down here that know him and are pulling for him. But as you say, Bill, he hasn't really capitalized on the chances he's created so far in this match.
No, well, I suppose you could say that Krajicek has, you know, he's made life pretty difficult for Henman, smothering the net. But Henman's had his chances, 6 of them, and he should have taken 1. And the weather down there, is it windy on court?
Yeah, it is pretty windy tonight, actually, Bill. Although the storm has passed over, it seems to be hanging around in terms of the wind, and tough for both players.
Yeah, it was coming from the south, so if you look at your picture, it's coming from behind and going towards the man at the far end.
But do you think the second serve from Henman's lacking a little bit of bite compared to the Krajicek second serve?
Well, it was the area I said at the beginning of the match that I felt was going to be exploited, if any. And yes, I think Krajicek just a little bit more willing at the moment to get a little bit more on the second serve, and then he's getting in tighter to the net. I agree with you, Chris.
We watched Sampras today, didn't we, striking second serves at 100 plus, and Henman's is at times hardly getting above the 100 mark.
Yeah, I think that's the problem when he's playing someone like Krajicek. He doesn't have the big second serve, and I think what he's trying to do is what's been so successful in his previous matches is getting the ball up quite high, but obviously Krajicek, being the tall man that he is, he can't quite get it up high enough.
Yeah, not a very good return, but Krajicek's footwork perhaps at fault. Henman comes through the first game, as he should. He leads 1-0.
Important start for Henman, that to hold his opening service game. And we go back to belief and confidence, and Henman certainly full of confidence and belief coming into this match. So even though he's lost the first set, he'll still have faith in his ability to come through this one. And the main thing is, yes, he lost the first set, but he had chances. And you can only win a match if you get yourself to the chances. He's had them, he hasn't converted. Somewhere along the line, if he can just keep getting the chances, he will.
Yes, if he'd just taken one of in those 2 games, each game when he had 3 break points, he would have won the set, what, 6-3?
Ball toss from Krajicek on his second serve is a little bit low. Needs to put it up a fraction. Such a small margin for error on this serve because the action is so quick. The ball toss has to be perfect.
It's a beautiful backhand. And that time, Henman, remembering the net gets a bit taller, higher there. He's hit too many tapes going wide. Each man served 4 double faults now.
Henmans have been sporadic. The Krajiceks have come in bunches.
Oh, that sensational shot. Par excellence.
Well, this wasn't a bad volley at all from Krajicek. You can see Henman stretching out wide, but look at the early preparation and then the foot plant with the right foot on balance. Henman's 7th break point. Can he take this one?
Golly. Like a flash of lightning at the net, coming into the net.
That's too good. You can see Henman just nodding. Nothing wrong with that point.
Krajicek.
132 mph, not his quickest of the tournament. 135 is his quickest.
Light. Receive.
Once again, top of the tape. He's just got to raise his sights a little bit.
And a very intelligent second serve from Krajicek. Was struggling, served a couple of double faults in the game, took all the pace off that one, 79 miles per hour. Just got it in, and then when the short ball came, took it on and won the point. 1 game apiece.
Almost identical first serve percentages they have. Absolutely identical, 54% now each. Oh, that was very well played, because he overran it actually and had to play it close to his body.
15 all.
Well, wonderful control with the wrists from Krajicek. You can see just snapping up the back of the ball.
Krajicek's really, his return of serve is pretty incredible. Digging them all back, making Henman play. Yep. And here's trouble. A brilliant point from Krajicek. 2 break points.
15-40.
Well, Henman guilty really in the second time of this game going cross-court with the volley. You can see here, look, that one doing better off going back behind Krajicek. Krajicek on the run on this forehand wing. It's his better shot. And mopping up the reply from Henman.
Good serving. First serve in. Even better serving. Oh, that's great, great serving. Really well done. Surviving 2 break points and staying ahead 2-1.
It's 2 games to 1.
Well, if he's in any way unfit, Krajicek, he's certainly not showing any signs of it as yet, is he? Very mobile.
No, I mean, it is early days. I mean, it's well, just set and a bit gone. Krajicek is, I wouldn't say unfit, but not in the best possible shape. That will come into play maybe deep in a 4th set, stroke 5th set.
Seats, please.
1-2, second set. Yep, well played.
Again, Krajicek. 2 games on. Love 15.
Nice volley.
30-15.
Well controlled, deep.
And Krajicek looking at the serve as if he got a bad bounce. Henman really putting a lot of work on that volley.
Golly, that was pretty good judgment. Steve Ulrich from the United States. Good pick-up by Henman, wide of him, well controlled, good game. Stays ahead 3-2, second set.
3 games to 2.
Well, he has the advantage of serving first in this set, so he's always the one game ahead at the changeover. But I'd like to see him actually achieve something rather than those grim figures of no broken points in 7 attempts.
At least he's getting them, though. That is what Henman will take some heart from. A rather shaky shot of one of the bridges that goes across to Manhattan. You can see Henman at the changeovers really working on himself. He knows that this was always going to be tight coming in, and it's proving to be just like that. It's 1 or 2 points here or there, and right now Krajicek is the one that has taken those 1 or 2 points when they've really mattered. But Henman's had his chances. He's had some second serves on those break points and hasn't been able to take advantage of that.
Time.
But a real quality match right the way through this one so far. Not really a dip in form from either man.
No, if you look at the forehand winners, it's interesting, isn't it? Henman's made 8. Krajicek's only made 2. Backhand winners almost the same. 3 to Henman, 4 to Krajicek. So how is Krajicek winning?
Love 15. Seats, please. Love 30.
Well, this is deja vu. You know, a very good return by Henman. Don't get overexcited, Henman, though, because you've been here before. You've had him at love 40. Didn't make anything of it.
Percent.
This is what he tends to do. Produces a massive serve just when it's needed. Very big point coming up now. 15:30. So often he is at 15:30. Did I hear a call of no? It was in, I'm sure.
That was good. Way in.
This crowd is very much behind Henman, I think. This is absolutely perfect to the inch, 2 break points. must make him play, or it must be in court. I don't believe it. A very, very high approach, return rather by Henman. The easiest possible volley, really. Krajicek. Well, hardly the easiest possible, but certainly absolutely makeable. And finally, Krajicek is broken.
Well, I said if he continued to give himself chances, eventually he'd take one. He didn't take it probably the way that he would have expected, with Krajicek really donating that one with a bad volley. But nonetheless, it's a break of serve for Henman, and serving with the new balls. Needs to really focus here, hold his serve.
That was mighty good judgment too. Yes, that's about the first time he's exploited going behind the opponent.
I think it is the first time, and we're waiting for it, really. I think Henman as well, learning from the last time he's volleyed into the forehand corner what Krajicek can do with it. And you can see Krajicek, because Henman had done that, automatically covering to the forehand side.
That's a difficult volley there, I felt. I felt myself playing that volley with him, and I hit it out, Chris.
Well, you probably would, Bill.
Yeah, you
Henman
bet.
wouldn't.
Difficult sort of prod volley to play there. Excellently underlined. If they show a picture of David Felgate, his coach, he'd be smiling at that. There we are, looking at him. How about that? You always tell me to underline my break of serve.
Well, certainly Krajicek plenty to think of at the change of ends, because up until that last service break of his, he was really in control of this one. Even though Henman was pressing, you've got to think Krajicek would have been feeling happy. But Henman dealing well with the frustration of not being able to convert on his first 8 break points. And strong in the mind just to keep plugging away, keep the belief up as much as possible. And eventually Henman getting the break. Krajicek, I think, as well, would be worried with a little bit with the rhythm of his serve so far. Started off well, but a little bit patchy at times, especially on the second serve. Has had a run of double faults in his last 3 or 4 service games. And Henman now in control of this second set.
I get the feeling that people around the stadium feel rather like we do, and of course we're totally unbiased, aren't we, Chris? But we're just hoping 100% that Henman does well here. But the crowd in the United States are very much behind Henman. In fact, I think around the world they like his style of play. And I do too, and I'm sure you do too, because it's a good all-court, vivid sort of stroke making. Very good hands. Doesn't find those high returns too difficult, does he?
Thankfully he did on the break point when he missed that backhand.
Love game, putting the pressure back on Henman to serve out this set.
That'll please Krajicek purely because he just slowed down the action just a fraction and the serve started to work. But here's the crunch for Henman, serving to level of the set all.
Very difficult shot from Krajicek to handle that. Very hard and very low over the net.
Yes, Henman missing the volley just wide.
Oh dear, snatched at it. Yeah, I was going to say before that serve, from here on in, first serves are obligatory. Gosh, what a good pass. 2 break points.
Well, you can't blame Henman for going back to Krajicek's backhand because the forehand he's seen fly past him, but just not deep enough.
Krajicek looking round for help.
As a courtesy to the players, please do not disturb them during the point.
Somebody calling out halfway through Henman's service action. Both players looking up into the stands to see who it was.
That is so good. That is totally professional. The sequence of first serves in when trouble loomed. Set point. Felgate adjusts an ambitious looking face. Continue the sequence of first serves would be a good idea. Very, very good. So this has been between two men, not one man playing very well and one not so well, between two men both playing very good tennis, the best I've seen this tournament. Chris, have you seen better?
Krajicek having to save break points to serve out a set. I think both men will be sitting down. I think realizing that they're facing an opponent, either man, who is playing very well, and as you said, Bill, good quality and a really important hold for Henman. From 15-40 down, he got the first serves in. Mark Petchey scurries up from courtside, and Mark, some set from Henman, and eventually getting the break point rather fortuitously.
Well, you have to say that he's had so many chances, and eventually Krajicek coming in, and it looked from here, I don't know what you thought up there, Chris, that it was actually going out anyway. It didn't look to me like Krajicek actually had to play it, but I wasn't sure. And anyway, he missed it, but all credit to him. And I think in that last service game, you can just see the sort of improvements that he's made in his game. 4 first serves to serve out the set, and he's right in this match, and the crowd are just beginning to really get into it. It's what the match needed was one set all. They know now there's a real contest out here.
Do you think Henman could do with going back behind Krajicek a little bit more? He's gone into the space and paid the price.
Well, he has. I was actually speaking to Tom Gullickson while I was out here, and he was saying he'd like to see Henman use the chip return a little bit more off the Krajicek second serve. Get it down low to Krajicek's feet and hit the second shot as the pass. We saw in the game that he broke with the great forehand pass down the line. That's what he'd like to see, Gullickson would like to see a little bit more of. And Gullickson's got a little bit of cash on Henman, so, you know, we need to get a message to him.
Thanks, Mark.
So if Krajicek wanted a quick match, he's not really going to get one. It's going to be at least 4 sets. Here we go. 3rd set.
Well, there's maybe an opportunity that Henman could use the little chip down at Krajicek's feet. Hearing Mark Petchy saying that Tom Gullickson, who's had a word with, felt that Henman could do with using that bit a little bit more, that shot a little bit more, instead of going for the hit through the ball.
Good idea, but not very well applied. And a good game for Krajicek to open the 3rd set. Interesting that Tom Gullickson is still in attendance here. Really getting quite late. It's it's 11 o'clock here in New York.
Well, he's good friends with Henman.
Yes, of course, through the Sampras.
And David Felgate. They play a lot of backgammon together.
Double faults go up to 6. Krajicek has 5. Well, that's tough, and gets slowed down that much. There's not a lot you can do.
Rather fortunate to get away with that, Krajicek, because it was a bit of a bluff. The approach was very short indeed, but when you're that big, you're an imposing factor at the net.
Well-controlled half volley. And good for Krajicek to make him play one. Well, no question of is that going to be in or out. It could possibly have gone wide, but I think it was going in. And an excellent finish off quite a difficult sort of smash off to your right. Henman with a point for 1-all. Good serving.
Henman right now, first serve percentage 70%. That's the highest I've ever seen it from him in this type of match. Just waiting for a few people to settle down behind Krajicek's arm.
Oh, cunning.
Well, this one should have gone away from Krajicek, no doubt about it. But look at the hands from Henman. The racket face well out in front all the time. That's all in the wrist. He knew where he wanted to put that one when he saw the shot he had from Krajicek. That takes a lot of talent. Still ball toss very low from Krajicek. That's why he's missing these second serves. Almost collapsing at times. Sixth double fault.
I think he tried a shot that was a little even beyond him. He would have been so skillful if he'd brought it off.
Again, you've got to hand it to Krajicek. Henman here, this ball way behind him. Trying, as Bill said, a little bit of an impossible shot, but good play from Krajicek. Let's see if he puts the ball toss up a little bit more on this second serve. Henman would do well to just impose himself a little bit more here.
Oh, that's so close. Tough. Tight game. Just a few inches here and there in this match. And Krajicek 2-1. So this match just stays absolutely on a knife edge for both players all the way through. It really is a very, very high quality contest indeed. And in the locker room afterwards, the winner and the loser are going to say, I remember just those two crucial points in this entire match.
One thing to show in the locker room, there's going to be nobody left. Because I think by the time this one's finished, what are we, just gone past 11 in the evening. Labor Day weekend is going to go into a Sunday, I think, for these two. Match update, well, the first serve percentage for Henman, that's the best I've ever seen it in his entire career, 70% in this type of match. Krajicek not bad at 56%, and pretty even all the way around. Unforced errors as well, just 4 more from Henman. Of course, if you're back in the UK, it's 4:05, but I'm sure you're enjoying this one as much as we are. Let's hope we get the right outcome. Be worth staying up for if we do.
Good tactics, straight in the belly. Apology, of course.
What was a good tactic was the first volley from Henman. Kept it very low, forced Krajicek to play up. That's the way to deal with a man who is rushing you on the volley.
No, just overdid it. When he goes to the net on the second serve of Henman's, it makes for a very frantic point. Very little time to decide what you're going to do in Henman's case. Now then, he can stand by for that scenario, perhaps.
Henman, I think, is dealing well with the problem of these second serves, because you can see all the time Krajicek is taking up a very aggressive stance when Henman's hitting these second serves.
Absolutely ideal. So well played. In fact, it was slightly humiliating almost for Krajicek. It was just yards and yards away from that excellent volley.
Krajicek frustrated he didn't play a better shot on the return, wanted to get it low.
Well left. Good point, good game. A difficult game, that one, I thought, for Henman. Came through it well.
2 games on.
Krajicek has been to the net 72 times. And he's won 47 of the points, 65%, that is. Oh, he dealt with that well. Applauded by Henman. He knows how to play that shot well.
Well, second time that Krajicek has dealt with this type of shot extremely well. That one even better than the first. Look at the wrist snap that he gets. Watching the ball all the time. Perfection.
Well, hit slowly like that with a load of topspin, you really must hit it quite high over the net. Oh, that was travelling. Seemed faster, 124. Pretty powerful game by Krajicek. And he goes ahead again, 3-2.
Waiting somewhere, Bill, for this match to have a tie-break. They've had a tie-break in every previous encounter. In fact, 6 of their sets out of the 10 played coming into this had been tie-breaks. I think that we can see why, but the quality of the returning from both men has been high. Has had every single factor. Each man, when the other one is making just a tiny slip, making them pay. Good to see that not too many people have left. Of course, Labour Day weekend, people have got a holiday, and I'm sure enthralled as much as we are with this match, and no indication really right now of who's going to come through this one. It's going to come down to who takes maybe a few more risks, grabs it by the scruff of the neck. If you were going to go on that theory, then maybe Krajicek, who would take a gamble or two on the Henman second serve that have arrived. So far, nothing to choose between the two.
Well, play a good balance for that, nice and deep. No. We're seeing a bit more of the two men converging at the net now. Henman going forward and volleying the volley. Good serve, straight down the middle, lowest part of the net. That is safe. 3-3.
Well, both men going for new rackets. I thought for a moment that we were missing something. But Krajicek once again unravelling the racket, new restring. ball's in play. I suppose you wonder if this goes to 5 sets, goes long, that Krajicek has brought enough rackets out with him to continue to take out a new racket with a new restring at every ball change. Might have to play a 5th set with a racket that he doesn't feel is the right tension.
Good idea, but overcooked it a bit.
Ever so slightly, just gone into a little bit of a lull here, middle of the 3rd. Both men still playing high quality, but not executing the second shots as well as they have been.
He'll be 26 in a few days' time, 6th of September. Big serving again. 4-3.
Krajicek leads 4 games to 3.
So they're learning a bit about each other. They already know quite a lot. They know each other very well. This is the 4th time they've met. And if Krajicek wins, he'll be levelling their scores at 2 matches all. 2 matches each. Henman now serving at 3-4. And this is a very dangerous time to drop serve, of course.
Important thing for Henman here is that he's starting to not let Krajicek take advantage of some of these second serves. That one a little bit pacier, 100 miles per hour at Krajicek.
Oh, that's so quick. Really, split-second timing and execution.
Well, the major thing here for Henman is that he keeps the racket out in front all the time. Just has to lay the strings on the ball to bunt that one over.
Pinpoint accuracy by Krajicek. He does stretch well to his forehand. Dangerous thing to do. 8th double fault that was. Good first serve in. That was lucky for Henman, that was. He's had his luck with the net cord, slowing it down when Henman has hit the net cord and slowed it down for Krajicek. So 4-all the score in this set. Set all, 4-all, third set.
It's just good scrambling from Henman. May force Krajicek somewhere along the line just to go for a little bit more when Henman is retrieving those sort of shots. That's a fine return.
15 all.
Oh, you see how crucial every point is now. Set all, 4-all, 15-all. Oh, that is so good, because he had to get right back from the baseline and produce that. I mean, that was an exceptional shot.
Exceptional because Henman held this. Watch the way he holds the shot, and then at the last moment just elects which way to go. Gave no indication at all to Krajicek which way he was going to slot that pass.
Henman just checking. Massive serve. Must have been a centimetre too long. Yes, it was long, he says, hoping he's right. Now then, this could be the biggest point of the match. And there'll be many, many big points. Break point. Yes, it's in. Well, 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 well. Broken at the absolutely perfect time, leaving Henman serving as he comes out for a 2-set-to-1 lead.
It's unbelievable. It's a game like this, Steve, is decided by linesman again. It's unbelievable. It's really, it's a shame, you know?
Well, you can hear Krajicek having a word with umpire Steve Ulrich. There's the block that Tom Gullickson was talking about he'd like to see more of from Henman. But Krajicek unhappy with a call at deuce when he felt he'd hit a serve plumb down the middle on the line that was called wide, which gave Henman a chance at a second serve, which he took, and then that one on the first serve return. And Krajicek saying to umpire Ulrich that it's a shame that a match like this could be decided purely from a linesman. certainly mighty close on the centre line, that serve.
Yeah, in the circumstances, Chris, and at that moment it was a magnificent serve. Whether that call was correct or not, it was absolutely plumb down the middle, either on or a centimetre too long on the line, and you have to feel for that very discreet and quiet little discussion by Krajicek with the umpire. What a vital call it was anyway in Henman's favour. Now he's got to underline the only break of serve in this set by holding his own. Oh, sensational return.
15-30.
It's just not wide enough, is it? Look at this. Krajicek didn't have to move at all. All he had to do was move forward into the ball.
Yes, dealt with very competently. Hit it flat, maximum speed on the volley. Five-4, third set, 30-all. Oh, gosh, he kept giving Krajicek chances. I mean, you can't really criticize Henman too much because it all happened so quickly. But it's set point.
I don't think you can criticise him at all. It was wonderful coverage from Henman. Krajicek was really laying into these passes.
That'll do. Killed it stone dead. That's a wonderful set of tennis. And Henman has taken us 2-1 lead in this massive match in the third round. Well, I don't know, we're breathless up here. I mean, it is all so exciting, Mark. How do you see it at the moment?
It's a thrilling match. It's a matter of inches. That Krajicek serve at 30-all that just missed the middle line. It could have all been different. We could have been into a tiebreaker, but Henman again, I believe on those 2 points just showed his added maturity. His game is getting better. He managed to convert on 2-second serves from Krajicek, and I don't know whether it looks like the same to you. Is he standing a little bit further back to return the serve from Krajicek, giving himself a little bit more time and then picking his spot and just going for it?
I think he well might be, as set 3 comes up in summary. How did you see that call down the middle? Because Krajicek at the change of ends was saying to umpire Ulrich that he felt it was a shame that this match may very well be decided by a bad call from a linesman.
Well, I was just sitting at the side of the court, so I wasn't in a good place to call it. I certainly know Henman went up and had a look at it. I think when he looked at the mark, I think Tim thought it was out. So I like Henman's chances for here. I've always thought he's had the mental edge over Krajicek when he gets in front. I think he's going to be a little bit stronger. Wouldn't be surprised to see a weak game early on in this set from Krajicek on his serve.
I tell you something, I wouldn't blame the umpire at all, because he is only allowed by the rules to overrule a clear mistake, and it was so close. Tough on Krajicek, but there you go. Fourth set.
Ulrich just appealing for quiet.
Well, Henman's going to be pretty bitter about that, because even from our position that looked long from Krajicek. Henman's arms went out. It's too late now. It's history. Forget it. Once again, firing the shot straight at the goalkeeper, who's going to commit himself one way or the other. Good tactics. These half-volley, near half-volley returns, Henman tried one then, have to be instinctive shots, really. Oh, very near.
Surprised that Henman hasn't tried the block a little bit more. He blocked the serve to get the break at 4-all. That would have been perfect for just a little nudge down the line and cover.
Brilliant shot. 2 or 3 times he's produced that almost behind him. Really quite late looking backhand cross-court pass.
And because he's gone down the line as well, you could see that Krajicek was stuck right in the middle of the court, almost in mud. Has no idea where that backhand's going from Henman.
Well dug up. Excuse me. And Krajicek takes a pretty tight first game, 1-0.
Mark, just wanted to bring you in before you go back down onto the court. Atmosphere down there, do you feel that there's a big support for Henman right here?
Yeah, I definitely think that the way that Tim's performed in the American hardcourt season has definitely given his profile a lift over here in America, which is tough to do when you're competing with the sports like baseball and everything else over here in America. I definitely feel that he seems to be the more recognized player, although obviously Krajicek being the Wimbledon champion, I definitely think it's Henman that people are pulling for right now.
Okay, we'll let you get back down. Thank you.
It's lovely play. First time in the match we've had a point like that, with the ball going almost parallel to the net. Yeah, the perfect answer, really. You've got to stay so cool to produce a shot like that. That's a great angle serve. Still looks very fit, doesn't he, Henman? He's given up all drinking, I believe, hasn't he?
Yeah, doesn't touch too much alcohol anymore, and also changed his diet totally to more protein-based to help him build himself up.
Runs along the towpath. Fitness in the gym.
Again, Henman using the back behind volley well. And what's good about this from Henman, there's a lot of good things about it, but he's also analysing right the way through all the time. He started off going into the corners, and Krajicek was running them down on the forehand side. Now he's changed his line of attack on the first volley a little bit.
Really hasn't missed very many volleys around the net, or on his way to the net. Fairly thrashed that down from a low toss. And holds to 15. Krajicek ahead 2-1.
Time.
Well, this match continues to be absolutely enthralling. Massive crowd still here. Obviously, some people have had to go home. But it really is a very good, high-quality match between two real all-court players. Henman at 1-2. Now, somebody in the crowd calling out, and the umpire, Steve Ulrich, is saying one more word from you and you'll be removed. Good try, but difficult, having to scuttle around all over the court then.
First point that Henman's dropped in this set on serve. And And Tim just asking the umpire to get that man out. So here we go. There he goes. Thank you very much, sir.
What a disgrace, really. Trying the tip and charge, very nearly worked. Once again, the first serve percentage creeping up for Henman. 2/3 of them going in. That's pretty good.
It's the main thing that's put him in this lead. 65% from Henman. It's very good. Exactly what he wanted. And that one just dipping in at the last moment from Krajicek. Henman will have a gaze.
Good serving, Henman. Two all, fourth set. Well, very often is a faint mark left on these courts. He was looking for it. Looked just wide. Brilliant return. So confident, that shot.
Second serve from Krajicek, just losing a little bit of bite and taking it early.
That was an equally good return of serve. Coming over it, quite difficult, isn't it, though, Chris? I mean, these balls from a very tall man bouncing quite high.
Yeah, that one didn't get up that high. You'll see it here. It is pretty much right at him, and waist height, perfect height.
So often he does this. If he gets to love 30, bang down the middle goes an ace.
Quick shot there of Ann Jones just behind Richard Krajicek. Of course, Ann Jones, a former Wimbledon champion.
Once again, that tactic paid off. Not necessarily going for accuracy, but hitting it pretty hard. And here's a big, big point. Oh, beautifully killed the pace.
Well, Henman nods his head in approval from Krajicek, but could have gone for a little bit more pace on that pass. Didn't really rip the backhand as we've seen him in this match.
Very good serving. Out of trouble again. Another break point saved. Krajicek 3-2. Fourth set. Henman has had 11 chances to break in this match. It shows how tight the match has been. He's only won 2 of them. And Krajicek has only won 1 break point out of 7 offered to him. So it shows how well both men have been defending these crucial points.
Yes, they've been defending them well, but also both of them, I think, would feel that they haven't converted maybe as many as they could have, especially that last one from Henman, when he really didn't go for it maybe as much as he should have done. He went for more of just a precise pass. If he had ripped it at exactly the same spot down the line, I doubt whether Krajicek would have handled it as well as he did by taking off what pace there was for the angled volley. But it's been high quality, Bill, right the way through. We keep saying it, but very rarely do we get a match like this. There was a slight lull in the middle of the third set, but apart from that, it's been quite brilliant from both men. And still, you can't really say who's going to come out on top.
Quite agree. Level pegging in this set. No breaks of serve. The only break points you've just seen, and it was defended.
And new balls in play as well, and once again Krajicek gets out a new racket. Must be running out, surely. Into double figures with the double faults. Henman had only served 5 in his previous 2 matches.
Well, that high looped return with some topspin on it drops in.
I actually thought this was a bit of a miss-hit, to be honest, from Krajicek off the bottom of the frame. Henman deceived.
Oh, that's beautiful. Just lovely, cool, balanced volleying.
Again, Henman, sensing that Krajicek was going to come in, kept the volley fairly low.
Oh, despairing dive. Well, not despairing at all, actually. A beautiful balanced dive, but a very difficult volley. If he actually meant the stop volley, which I assume he did.
Yeah, he did definitely mean this. He saw that Krajicek, even though Henman was at the stretch, you could see that he meant to play this drop volley. It was a good pass by Krajicek.
That wasn't an easy volley either. On the run into the net, banging it back from whence it came.
Krajicek, I think, maybe trying to follow in the return a little bit too much. He's making excellent balls down at Henman's feet. Could do with maybe just waiting for the ball to bounce a couple of times, picking it off.
First serves have dried up in this game.
Second double fault of the game from Henman.
Point for 3-all. Just when he wanted the first serve in, he got it. Right down off his toes. It's a long way down from 6'5".
Definitely starting to get onto the Krajicek second serve now, Henman. He's starting to take it a little bit more early, positive, swinging through the ball.
Terrific. That was masterly footwork. Very quick to get in position. Wouldn't mind seeing that again.
Well, you got your wish, Bill. And Henman doing well to get his body out of the way. Again, taking this serve early really is putting the second serve of Krajicek under severe examination. There's a chance here once again to have a go for it. Krajicek will be wary. He's seen a couple flash past him. See, there maybe Henman could think, okay, I've hit a couple, 15-30, second serve, let's just block it down at the feet, see what happens.
Once again, good serving when it mattered. And Krajicek keeps his nose in front. 4-3 in the fourth set. Yes, well, that tells you what the time is in New York. It's just the next day. And that means it's 5 o'clock. So thank you very much for staying with us in England. And I hope you've phoned up all your friends and told them about this fantastic match that Henman is playing. Because it is fantastic. It's very high standard throughout. There has been no time for anybody to let up at all and take a breather, has there?
I think that little baby should be in bed.
Absolutely.
Clearly the mother, an enthralled tennis fan. Poor little chap's yawning away.
Yes. He's not even watching the match. No wonder he's yawning.
Well, here's where Krajicek has the advantage as we get to an end of a set from serving first. At the stage now where Henman drops his serve, could be fatal.
Yes, from here on you see the real advantage of serving first in a set. Wouldn't have thought he had to play that, Henman. If in doubt, play the ball, though. Excellent approach shot, that. Skidding low with a bit of slice. A little bit of side spin as well. Change of direction. Yes. Whoever wins this match, Chris, has had two ominous figures removed from their path towards the final. Agassi is gone. Kafelnikov has gone today. Sampras, of course, waits. Safe as houses. Beautiful play. 4-all. 4-all.
Of course, the winner of this one will play Dominic Hrabati, who defeated Yevgeny Kafelnikov. I suppose we should say yesterday now, shouldn't we? 5+12.
Yep, just about.
think Henman just removing a bug from in front of Cyclops. That was what the beep was. So first serve.
No, leaning off it, rather. Oh, sensational serve and return.
Henman reading this one so well. Just the one pace across, maybe not as wide as Krajicek would like, but still Henman with the control on the stretch.
He's been so competent, Krajicek, at putting away the high return of serve.
Game, Krajicek.
Exemplary service game by Krajicek takes him to a 5-4 lead, fourth set.
The Tuesday night premiere. The perfect world of a TV sitcom until you find yourself in it.
We're in Pleasantville?
Look at me. I'm pasty.
But things aren't always black and white.
What's outside of Pleasantville?
Something is happening to our town.
You're going to have dinner ready at 6 o'clock.
No, I'm not.
Well, we're safe for now. Thank goodness we're in a bowling alley.
Pleasantville, Tuesday at 10 on Sky Premier.
The new Seat Leon, as good as it looks.
Well, we just spotted one or two Union flags, Union Jacks. And well may they be waving. Henman's doing a good job. I must say he looks as fit now as he did right at the outset. So does this man.
Not sure I've seen Henman serve consistently well in a match for such a long period. He's only dropped 5 points in this fourth set on serve.
This is the way to try and draw level from this ominous score position of 4-5. Lovely deep second serve there. Absolutely not allowing Krajicek the opportunity to try and chip and charge. 5-all, fourth set. Henman 2-1 up. Crowd getting very involved. Those who waited, and that's masses of people have done. Well, we're getting very close to the tiebreak that these two always seem to have when they play each other. And if they do go to a tiebreak, it's worthwhile looking at their record in tiebreaks over this year. Henman has won 14, lost 11. Krajicek has won 6 and lost 10. Very much a deficit. Backhand grip, as always. Well, at 40 love, I don't think Henman gave that his all. I think he's reserving his energies for what he hopes will be the inevitable tiebreak.
Probably the worst returning game that Henman's played in this set. Still made Krajicek play some volleys, but not as awkward as he has been right the way through this full set. And that's not being critical at all of the way that Henman's played and the match update here. Again, you look at the Henman first serve percentages, it's up there, and that is one of the reasons I think why Henman is winning right now. Winner's very close indeed. Henman 10 more unforced errors than Krajicek. As you can hear, plenty of support for Tim Henman. And important here for Henman to get the first couple of points on the board and get the first serve in like he has been doing right the way through this match, and especially in the fourth set. He's dropped only 5 points so far on serve in this set, and serving once again to stay in the fourth.
Beautiful footwork again. Because that ball was coming more or less straight at him. Just sidestep to get in position for a lovely volley. They go up to 12, the double faults. Krajicek half that number. Now here's danger. If the second serve is not deep, Krajicek will be moving forward. Set point.
set point and the first break point as well that Krajicek has had in this set.
Oh.
Well, that's what you call a clutch play. Got the serve in, good volley back behind. The second shot from Krajicek really put Henman under pressure, but there's the strength in the Henman legs as well, just to maintain his balance. Brilliant point.
Well, he knew Krajicek's intentions. If the second serve hadn't been deep, and it was deep, too deep, second set point. Brilliant pass, and it's 2 sets all.
7 games to 5. 2 sets all.
Well, Henman guilty, you'd have to say. Double faults in that game really let him down. Just when he'd been serving so well in that 4th set, had hardly dropped any points at all going into that game. And then what, 3 double faults in that service game from Henman. You can see him shaking his head. And a little bit of difference as well as we look at set 4 in summary. When Krajicek, remember Bill, Henman had a backhand pass on a break point in the 5th game of that 4th set. Henman didn't really go for it, didn't step up to the plate. You put that on when Krajicek had a very similar backhand pass. What did Krajicek do? Took it on, ripped it down the line. We're going into a 5th set. Very small margins, but that's where Krajicek took it by the scruff of the neck when he had to. Here's this set point, and look at this. Good return, great volley from him, but rip there. Krajicek just went for it. Whereas when Henman had that break point, the only break point he had in that set, yes, he made the pass, but he didn't really go for it. Look at the acceleration coming up on the Krajicek backhand side. There. And there's the set. Small margin, but that's all it takes.
Well, Dutch support there is. And just a little bit of impetus now, momentum behind Krajicek. Double faults in all for Henman have not helped his cause, in particular in that game. It depends when you do them. Yes, difficult shot. Once again, instinct.
Well, the handbook says cover down the line because this one was behind Henman, but again, look at the way that Henman can just flick it cross court. Second time he's done it in the match. It's a good start.
Yes, he's done it more or less the same sort of shot from a different part of the court, but the same technique. This is the 3rd successive set where Krajicek has served first.
how well Henman is responding to dropping his last service game to take this one into the 5th set. Mental strength again from the British number 1.
And trying yet again a similar shot, that hooked forehand.
It's a good touch for a big man, isn't it?
Four points in a row from love 30. And Krajicek hangs in there. 1-love.
So much of this match right now comes down to not just the physical, but also the mental. Dealing with disappointments. Henman, I'm sure, will look back at that 5th game when he had the break point. He didn't accelerate on the backhand down the line. When Krajicek had his 2nd set point, a break point, a level of the 2 sets all, he ripped it down the line. There's a difference in that set.
My word, like a tiger, he pounced on that.
Well, double faults cost him in his last service game. Another one on the board there. He's just lost his rhythm ever so slightly. Needs to regain it.
Gosh, that's very brave. That was miles up in the black sky. Very confident smash indeed.
I think Krajicek's thinking, what about the pickup as well? I mean, that couldn't have been any better. It had to be good.
He had to play that. It was going in. Well played, Henman. Rock of Gibraltar there at the net.
It's quality volleying from Henman. On balance all the time.
Very good. First serve in. Had to be. Good recovery from 15-30. Krajicek made a good recovery from love 30.
Well, new balls and another new racket for Krajicek. He must come out with about 10 or so in that big thermo bag that you can see at the bottom of your screen. Quite phenomenal. Henman not happy with people behind Krajicek's arm just coming in to sit down. They really shouldn't be allowed in. Ace number 18 from Krajicek, only 4 from Henman.
Yep, rather lackluster second serve. Dealt with rather easily.
Well, it's gone down as an ace, but Henman nicked it.
Big serving by Krajicek, and no breaks. He leads 2-1.
Well, if you were going to go this one in the fun set on serving, then Krajicek will come out on top. 20 aces, only 6 double faults compared to 4 aces from Henman and 15 double faults. So a few too many free points coming from Henman. It really is very, very close. Henman, you'd have to say, well, he's had his chances to win this one. He had, what, break points in the opening Krajicek service game of the match, didn't take them. Krajicek took the set. And Henman took the next 2. So if Henman had taken his chances, this could all have been over and done with a long, long time ago. But as it is, Henman serving at 1-2 in the 5th set. Of course, Krajicek going out in the heartbreak 5th set. Let's hope it's not the same for Henman.
Nice deep volley again then. Had to be. Yep, 3rd time he's played the high backhand smash. Very well. There is that so dangerous drill backhand down the line. That's how he won the 4th set.
And this side's supposed to be his weaker wing, Bill. Quite phenomenal how he can just rip it down the line. Again, Henman going into the corners, letting Krajicek run onto balls. It's been much more successful, Henman, when he's gone back behind his opponent. Krajicek 6'5", difficult to turn.
Yes, closed right in then, Henman.
He played that well, Henman, because as ever Krajicek was following in the return. Henman just kept his eye on the ball, didn't look at Krajicek one bit.
That couldn't have been a better volley. Once again, good footwork and just skidded it away into that corner.
And Krajicek laughing, probably thinking I should be in Shea Stadium. That one was a home run.
Doesn't seem at the moment to be quite so confident on the forehand passes.
Said this right the way through this match, Bill. We're only 2-all in the 5th set, but these two are known for tiebreakers. Could you imagine having a tiebreak to finish this one off? Some finish.
Certainly would be. Oh, bad luck. Got there quickly.
Krajicek right now for me, the player that ever so slightly is serving the better. Getting more free points.
Well, he ripped that one, but too long. And Krajicek goes ahead 3-2. You know, Krajicek is certainly serving the better on the aces count. He's done now 20. Henman still only 4. Double faults. Krajicek 6. Henman 15. Tells quite a long story, that. And they've been on court for 3 hours.
The worrying figure for Henman right now is that his second serve points one is dipped below the 50, whereas Krajicek is at 60, which is very good indeed. And as we thought, this one was going to be tight, and they haven't disappointed. Without question, the match of the tournament so far, purely on the quality, the sustained quality from both men. Hasn't really dipped at all. But Krajicek is the one who is serving first in this final set, and you think if it edges to the 4-alls, the 4-5s, with the way that Henman's serve crumbled a little bit, didn't it, at the end of the 4th set, Krajicek, you think, would be a slight edge-on favourite.
Well, this is a real night match at the US Open. Just the sort of match I imagine they anticipated. Just a little bit predictable, that scenario there, played by Henman. Serve up to the net, volley to the backhand corner. Henman disturbed up in the stand behind Krajicek. That's impossible luck. Most of those net cords hit hard, go flying off into the stands.
Henman had it covered as well, didn't he? Would have been a tough volley, but, well, you make your own luck. It was a good return.
Neither player can relax for a moment. In most matches you can pace yourself a bit. Here it's flat out all the time. Great serve, plenty of pace down the middle.
The radar only signalling 60 miles per hour, but has to be wrong.
It shifted from 122 to 60 for some obscure reason. Good serving. Well then, that's the first half of this set over. We enter the danger period.
Henman telling himself shorter swings, don't take such a big wind-up on the return. Keep the racket out in front and use the wrist. He's got the capabilities. Returning's just gone off a little bit from Henman. Hit an excellent patch in the middle of the fourth set. Krajicek did well to hang on in.
That's a great return. Such a good angle.
Well, don't look so upset, madam. It's not over yet. Still plenty of life.
Remarkable how the service percentages have held up. Henman always ahead, over 60, 62 at the moment. Krajicek just below the 60 at 58. Vicious. Krajicek steams ahead again. And he's 4-3 up. Final set.
Still, Bill, at times would like to see Tim Henman just mix up that backhand return a little bit. He's continually driving through it. It's still a pacey serve from Krajicek, even though we're deep into a fifth set. And if his timing is not perfect, as we come into 1:45 in the morning here in New York, he's not making the return. Some people can't keep awake. We certainly are. let's hope that somebody wakes him up after this match is finished, or else he might wake up as the sun comes over Arthur Ashe Court. He's got his money's worth anyway.
Well, people will be getting up in England around now, some of the early birds. 5:45 in England. And this would be a feast to have at breakfast time.
But he could just do, Bill, with just chipping a little bit on the backhand. Krajicek is continually going out to that the Henman backhand side. And if he just chipped it and gave Krajicek no pace, asked him to play up, just varying it, it might make a difference.
Yeah, I quite agree. Rather in the, like Pat Rafter, who just sort of almost blocks it back. Alters the pace as well. Here's a vital game to save. 3-4 down. No.
It's called good. And I'm not sure whether Henman really needed to play this. Let's have a look. Well, it may have dipped in.
I could have sworn that was wide. It was called good. Yes. He's seeing the ball very well, isn't he? Krajicek, ominous. Oh, that's a crucial miss. If he loses this match, he's going to remember that shot, which would have given him 15-30.
Yeah, an absolute gift, this. You'd bank on Krajicek making this one 9 times out of 10. But still, he is the one that is making better quality returns consistently.
Well adjusted there. Feet had to do a bit of work, brain had to do a bit of work, and eyes had to be glued to the ball. .40-15 to pull level at 4-all. Very good return again, off backhand there.
Just ushering a moth away from the court.
That was a good backhand by Henman, just wide enough to crumple the racket of Krajicek. He really needed it. 4-all.
Now then, what can Henman do here? Krajicek has been the one in this final set that has been making better returns consistently. Henman has started games off against the Krajicek serve not too well.
He needs one of those rather rare double faults to set him up here. These are the guys who are supposed to control the people wandering around. It's unbelievable.
Well, you called it, Bill. Double fault it is. Hasn't served one for a while.
I wouldn't have thought he's nervous. He's played a very equable, good-natured match, actually.
No, I don't think he's nervous at all. There's a chance for Henman to apply some pressure.
Yes. He needs a load of second serves, doesn't he, to tee off on.
Well, I'd like to see him block a few more.
Yeah, so would I. It's a very good volley under pressure.
You can see Henman thinking out here. Watch where he's returning serve. He's taken a couple of paces back on the first serve. Just giving Krajicek a different view. See how far back he is. It does offer Krajicek a few more angles, but it also in turn give Henman a longer view of the ball coming towards him. Well, there's the payoff. Stand further back, you give the one out wide, the angle. Big serve as well, 126 miles per hour out wide.
Thunderous serving. And he's put himself one game away from the next round.
Even though he lost that game, Bill Henman, I like what he was doing out there. It shows clarity of thought under extreme pressure. He realised that he hadn't been returning particularly well in this final set, so he backed off a little bit to give himself a longer look. But then Krajicek saw it and realised that the angles were there and finished up with two aces, one out wide on the ad side and one out wide on the deuce side. So both men under extreme pressure, really still thinking out there. And you can't pay a higher compliment than that.
No, quite agree with that. And it's been a classic encounter. A thrilling match for this late night crowd to be watching. It's nearly 1 o'clock New York time. And Henman has to come up with some first serves now to deter this man from chipping and charging. And if he does that successfully and volleys well, yep. That's good. Two first serves in. That's the way to keep the big man away from danger around the net. And that's three first serves in. And that makes all four. That's very good.
Henman's first love game of this final set. That's got to be good because Krajicek was the one that was pressing on the return. one more service holder piece, and we will have that tie-break that we talked about at the start of this final set. Not wide enough from Krajicek.
It's been some time since that has happened. That instant forehand return for a winner.
Henman once again giving himself a little bit more time to see the serve.
That's brilliant.
Look at that, playing that almost off the left leg, just at the last moment, the weight going through the shot. Now then, will Henman realise that majority of times when Krajicek has been at love 30, he's gone with a big flat serve down the middle.
Well, Krajicek's thinking, or maybe he's just not thinking what was so successful before.
I think he is thinking. Well, there was the big flat one.
That's been repeated many times, hasn't it, at the love 30 situation. Now here's a biggish point, the 15-30 point. That was a biggish serve.
Takes the aces up to 23. And pretty quick out wide.
This is just huge serving. 130 mph from love 30. Well, all unanswerable serves. Magnificent serving. Takes him to the security of knowing he's got two chances. He could break, or he could go into the tie-break. Yet another racket comes out.
Tell you, Bill, you've got to hand it to Krajicek. Whenever he's been under pressure, the big serve has come out. Unbelievable serving from Richard Krajicek from love 30. Thought he might go for the big flat one down the middle. He thought, well, okay, I've done that before, I've done it a lot, maybe Henman will pick it. Went out wide, got the net called, and then went for his favourite and made it. Now this is where Henman has got to forget what happened at the end of the fourth set, where he came out and he served, what I think, about 3 double faults in that game to really hand Krajicek the break and the set. He's got to forget about that, focus in on getting the first couple of first serves in, get the first couple of points on the board, and look to take us into the tie-break.
Well, I certainly hope Henman is not getting as excited as the crowd obviously are here. These doughty supporters who've hung in here until the early hours of the morning in New York. Once again, last service game, he got 4 first serves in. That made the job relatively simple. Can he do it again?
And serving with the new balls. 5-6. Well, the same stage in the fourth set, 5-6. Henman served 3 double faults. Just gone past 1 o'clock here. Can't afford to give 3 points away at this stage.
Another crunching return from Krajicek. Nothing wrong with the serve.
Oh, it was in the pocket though, Bill, wasn't it? Look at this.
Apart from that.
It wasn't accurate enough by a long way.
Well, it's heart in mouth time then for Henman. Had to check, play it off the ground. 5-6, 30-all, final set.